Welcome to Our Hometown, the show where we take a look at the people and places that make Brunswick County unique. I'm your host, Jim McCallum. Today we welcome BCC men's basketball coach Walter Shaw. So stay tuned for Our Hometown. My guest is Walter Shaw. Coach Shaw is what I will say, highly acclaimed coach at Brunswick Community College. Coach, thanks for being with us today.
Thank you, Jim.
Coach, I want to talk about you for a minute. I know you're pretty modest, but you have a great story to tell. You started coaching at a very early age and fell into it in an unusual way. Tell us about that.
Well, my story is quite unique, but as I've told in my young age, in order to get in certain situations, there's not necessarily a direct path. You can get there in many different ways. And my path was that I was a person who thought I wanted to be a teacher and coach. And while I was in high school, I went to college as to be a physical education teacher and thought I'd be a high school coach. And I would love the sport of basketball, though I lettered in multiple sports in high school. And I went to UNCW. I contacted the coaching staff and became one of the managers on the team. From that standpoint,
one of the managers on the basketball
team at UNCW, okay. And during that time, Brunswick Community College was starting sports, and men's basketball was their first sport. And some of my former teammates actually were on the first team at BCC. So, in their quest to try to find places to play, being that there was not a gym in Brunswick County available to them at times. They used UNCW, and so because of my situation at UNCW, I was the rookie manager that had to open a gym for BCC to use the gym. So, from that, the coach at BCC said at the end of that year if I wanted to become a coach, then he didn't have any assistants, and I was more than welcome to come and help him out.
So you were the first assistant coach ever?
The first assistant coach
at BCC,
yes.
And we're going to talk about the years after that a little later.
So I was able to do that, and throughout college, I basically had full responsibilities. So I'm in the dorm room chopping up tape, or doing scouting reports, or figuring out recruiting plans, and traveling to events, while going to practice, and trying to be a successful college student.
I'm going to call those the early days because I want our viewers to understand. BCC had a team but didn't have a gym.
Yeah. Right. A lot of times, we get to a certain place and people forget how we got there.
Right.
And at that time, BCC had made a commitment to athletics, and men's basketball was going to be the first attempt at that. But a lot of people didn't want BCC to start it because they said you didn't have a facility. You don't have a facility. Mm-hmm. Where are you going to play? Where are you going to practice? And so, the public schools, did what they could to accommodate us as much as they could, but they had their own responsibilities and, facility management, issues at the time. So we had to basically bounce to wherever was available.
I'm reminded of the phrase, build it and they will come. You guys did the opposite. You came and then they built it.
You're definitely right. That's kind of what happened. We built the program, and then, but also we, as a result of that, moving back and forth between gyms, we were able to develop different relationships, and people were able to see that, we did have something good going, and we were trying to, develop something that could possibly be expanded at a later time. But, fortunately, by marketing that, the facility needs of the college, along with facility needs of the community.
Right.
We were able to, fortunately, 10 years down the road, or actually from that standpoint, 15 years down the road, get the Diane Gore Center, on the campus of the college.
I want to talk about your student athletes a little later, but I want to talk about your career. You've been a coach 20 years, am I right?
Well, this is my 18th year as the head coach, but I have the 4 years that I spent as an assistant
so
as
20
well.
plus.
Yes, 20 plus years, and It's kind of unique because I just turned 41 a couple weeks ago.
Wow, that's great.
So people, they think of me as a long-time coach, veteran, experienced guy,
Sure.
but I'm not really that old.
That's true. You're a young man.
So, but I've had multiple experiences under different circumstances that have allowed me to gain a lot of insight on a lot of different things in reference to dynamics with college and athletics, dynamics with college and other colleges, developing relationships with high schools and coaches, and seeing people change, grow, and trying to grow with all that happening.
If my research is right, your teams have won 300 plus games.
Yes, right now we stand at actually 342. So hopefully we can, try to get more than, try to get the goal is to try to get 350 or 350 plus before the end of the year. But I never really even look at that. We just coach a game and try to win. And then you look back and realize how far you've come once you get there.
Sure, but it's still an impressive number, and it has to be gratifying.
I appreciate it.
Yeah. Most of your student athletes, and maybe virtually all of them, are not on scholarship.
Well, it's a unique dynamic in the community college system. Most people don't understand that state funds aren't allowed to be utilized for athletics in the community college system.
Okay, I see.
So whatever schools have their big enrollments, are able to use parts of student fees or other subsidized funds to help grow their athletic programs. We're the smallest community college in the state with an athletic program more than 2 teams. And we also the smallest community college in the state with men's basketball. As a result, your budget is based on percentages of students.
Mm-hmm.
So it makes it difficult for us to have what a lot of other community colleges have in reference to funding. However, the community has been great for now, and they've been great throughout our whole time in helping us grow our sports, in different sectors, being able to gain funding necessary for us to do what we feel like we want to do, which is give opportunities for students through the area of sport.
Right. Well, I want to talk about their education in a minute, but I want to stay with sports for the moment. Your student athletes, your basketball players come from all over, right?
They do.
I mean, it's not necessarily a Brunswick County or even close to Brunswick County.
Yeah. When you're a small community college, you have to find your niche. And we talked about the fact that we don't have scholarships at our school. We're in a league that allows for scholarships. If we're able to fundraise and enough money to not only subsidize our budget and have something left over, we have ability to give scholarships. Mm-hmm. But we just, because of funding issues, we don't have enough money to do that. So therefore we don't have it.
Where do you find your basketball players? Do you find them? Do they find you?
Because of the longevity that I have, it's kind of back and forth. It started out, I tried to recruit players from every pocket in the state. So whether it was Hendersonville or Asheville or northeastern North Carolina, I tried to stay in North Carolina to begin with. Because I felt as we grew the program, that would, if that student had a successful experience, then it would give us a reference point to that community that a student from their area can come here and be successful.
Get referrals through coaches' relationships?
Yes, as we started to grow, and those students started to be successful, they started moving on to 4-year colleges. Right. And then when 4-year colleges realized the product they were getting from us, that was not only a good character human being, but also a good student and a pretty good basketball player, that they decided to, try to help us identify different players that may not be up to their standards and need a little extra work in some area. And so from that, we've gotten a little help from time to time from 4-year schools in getting players as well.
Developing these young men is what it's really all about, but it's significant that you have a number that have gone to Division I schools.
Yes, just like you say in baseball, where a guy's goal is to be drafted.
Right.
In men's basketball, the goal is either the NBA, but at least try to get to, most of them want to play at the highest level they possibly can.
Right, right.
And at the college or university level, that is the NCAA Division I. Now, everyone doesn't make it, and it's not for everyone, but I can at least say that we've had more guys sign Division I scholarships from our institution than any community college in the state of North Carolina. Actually, in the last 15 years, any of them combined.
I want our viewers to hear that again because I hadn't heard it. Say that one more time.
We've had more student athletes signed to Division I institutions in the last 15 years than every community college in the state combined.
That's awesome, and it's a credit to you, Coach.
Well, I appreciate
absolutely, it. Absolutely, absolutely. You're a coach. You also are the director of health and fitness.
Yes.
But over and above all that, you're a mentor to these young student athletes. They need your time. You spend a lot of time with them, I'm sure.
Yes. When you bring a person to Brunswick County and they're not from here,
right.
There's a lot they need to know.
Sure.
And not only a lot they need to know about moving here, but sometimes being the first time away from home. It's also how to navigate the path through college life. Not going to mom and dad's house every night.
Right.
And what it's going to take to try to fulfill your dreams, which is something that, we've done a pretty good job of, is kind of outlining a path. And for me, I've kind of had practice for so long that I've kind of been uncle, daddy, and sometimes,
absolutely, yeah.
Cousin, or, fulfill different roles at different times in these young men's lives for the times in which they spend here on our campus.
All right, this is one of the more important parts, and that is that you and we and BCC, we're all trying to develop these young men into good student athletes, but also prepare them for life.
Yes, the sport in itself provides us enough challenges that, if students pay attention or athletes pay attention to what they're actually learning, it will translate into life. People often say the term ball is life, and then when they go back and look at it after what their experiences, it's amazing what the lessons they've learned, whether it's teamwork, taking instruction, being on time, being able to trust a teammate, work together as a unit with someone you necessarily don't know, and try to meet a common goal.
Yeah, I've often wondered if I were a young college student, how successful I could be if I were a student athlete. It's tough to do both.
No, it's definitely tough. Our students have a minimum academic standard that's still above that of the normal student. They have study hall hours they have to get, volunteer hours they have to get, as we do a lot of stuff in the community, as well as their practice responsibilities. And then they still want to enjoy themselves as 18 to 20-year-old students.
Sure. We'll take a break and we'll be right back.
Okay.
Thank you.
I think having a Brunswick Community College softball team will benefit all 3 high schools in our county tremendously. We have young ladies here in our community that go on and play at other community colleges. This way they'll be able to stay home, be with their families, be close to home, and also they'll be able to get the Brunswick Guarantee money and be on full scholarship. So that's a win-win situation for us, and I think it would be for the young ladies that would come here to play softball at Brunswick Community College. I just think if our student athletes, the ones that we can get from Brunswick County, stay home, and the ones that come in give back to Brunswick County and to our community, then our community will give to the programs that are here to help these kids succeed and become successful and move on and get a college education. And we learned that very quickly with the baseball program and our other programs, that it was really, really important for our student athletes to be in the community and do the right thing. A lot of these young people that come from all over the state of North Carolina and even further away in some instances, they would not even go to school at all if it were not for athletics. We have a right at 95% of our student athletes that are sophomores that are here move on to four-year schools and complete their education. We'd like to thank ATMC for giving to our programs, and they've given to our programs in the past and been very supportive here. And you know, without corporate sponsors and people like you guys doing that, we wouldn't be able to survive.
Okay, we're back after a short break. Coach, we have a lot more to talk about. I'm at the BCC gym occasionally, and it's a terrific facility. Let's talk about what that has done to your program.
Well, I mean, you know, we talked about in the past not having a gym, so now, you know, in the past 7 years of having one, it has created a great opportunity for us to expand our program into the community. People know where they can go and where they can find us. It's also done great with us recruiting. It's one of the top facilities in the state for the community college level. It kind of actually, when it was built, it was the best, and it set the standard for many schools to try to match. You know, when that was built, you know, my job changed a little. I spent 10 years as a recruiter for the college in admissions, so my job was to try to recruit students for the entire campus. And that came from starting, you know, as an assistant basketball coach for recruiting players. And then as we opened the gym, you know, being a coach, it was a natural fit for me to go help manage the gym, and the things that were taking place at the gym, help organize and get that off the ground. And you know, so, you know, as that program or as the gym has grown, it's allowed us to market the sport of basketball in many different ways, and that has helped us with the recruiting of players that actually come play in our gym.
I want to divert just a little bit and talk about the entire Dinah-Gore complex, because I'm there occasionally. I know how many people use it. The fitness facility, the track upstairs above the gymnasium. There are hundreds and hundreds of people in your facility each and every day working on their own personal fitness.
Yes, it's a unique place.
It is.
It's the only one like this in this county, and probably, you know, one of the few regionally, where not only does it host athletic events, it's open to the public, where, you know, where members of the community can come in, get memberships, work on their own fitness goals. It also serves as the host pool for the county schools.
Right, thank you.
It's also the host of the high school conference tournament for men's basketball and women's basketball. We've started a high school Christmas tournament, which is something that the county hasn't had in over 20 years, which, you know, to utilize the facility. So there's a lot going on there.
Folks of all ages.
Folks of all ages, walks of life.
I want our viewers to know, if they haven't been there, they will be shocked to see what a world-class facility it really is. And to our viewers, come see it.
Yes, when you first walk into that place and you look up, you'll be amazed from the beginning.
Absolutely.
And so then when you realize all that's going on, you definitely want to take part in some of it.
Can you think of a couple of athletes that you'd like to mention among your 23 or 24 years that come to your mind? Obviously, hundreds do.
Well, you know, one of the things I'm most proud of is, you know, how much we've been able to touch the young man, you know, here in Brunswick County. Though we've had quite a few guys from outside the area, you know, I'm a big stats person, and as a coach, it's all about data. And, you know, I look at the number of men's basketball players or that were boys basketball players in high school in Brunswick County that have gone on to four-year colleges to play the sport of their choice, or of men's basketball at the Division I level, which once again is the highest level. And in that, in the last 25 years, there's only been 4, okay? What I can say though is 2 of them have come through Brunswick Community College to get there.
Great.
There was Jonathan Williams at South Brunswick back in 1998 who went directly to UNC Charlotte. There was Cedric Simmons, that is well known here in the area, that went to NC State. But the other 2 that people forget, is Kendrick Frank, former West Brunswick star, who went on from BCC to Bethune-Cookman University in Daytona Beach, Florida, and DeMontez Lowman, which some may remember because he's a 2014 grad of BCC, and he went on to play at Tennessee State University in Nashville, Tennessee. Both are back in the area working, progressing with their families and careers. But it's amazing to see that of that small number of young men who've had the opportunity to fulfill their dream, the effect we had on them.
Yeah, we've touched on this, but it's worth touching on again. A lot of these young men are from modest circumstances.
Yes.
With your help, with the college's help, occasionally from the foundation, I hope,
Yes.
they get a good 2-year education and move on to a 4-year school or move on to gain skills that they just didn't have when they got here.
That's the goal,
Yeah, right.
we're they're stepping stone to the to their
Thank you.
to their next destination. Everybody's destination's different. Everybody has a different path in life. For us, knowing that they came here primarily to play the sport and go to college, most of the athletes that we get wouldn't have come to BCC without the sport. They could have gone to community college in their own hometown.
I'll bet you hear from some of them, don't you?
We hear from once they move on, they all call back.
That's great.
Fortunately for us, with our constant fundraising needs, due to the limited budget that we discussed before, which is sometimes a third or a fifth of our competition, I'm often in contact with them, and they often are giving back. So that's the thing that people forget about,
That's wonderful.
is that they move on, but they do look back to help. Some may see us with new uniforms or basketballs or travel bags, and those aren't things that the school bought. Those are things that alumni purchase.
I'm really glad I asked you that question. I didn't expect that answer. That's excellent.
So those are things that, whether it's sometimes a meal on the road, whether it's different other things that we have to take taken care of within the program, the alumni give back more than what our budget is.
Wow. And we often talk about this in the foundation. Sometimes a scholarship of $300 or $400 or $500 is the difference between a student being able to attend that semester and dropping out.
It's definitely, a hand up is something, people need. Sometimes people want to look at it as a handout, but, sometimes people just need a jump start.
Right.
And once you get people there, the rest usually takes care of itself.
Yeah.
But getting them in the door is the challenge. That's the biggest fear that people have often, is just making that jump into
Right.
the first stage of their next journey.
Yeah. Coach, it's no secret that you've had some other coaching opportunities, but we've been fortunate enough to keep you here.
Yeah.
What do you see down the road for you 5-10 years?
Well, my goal is always to try to make this the most comprehensive and complete program that I dreamed it could be. We're growing in steps. Each year is a new year.
Yeah.
Each year presents its own challenges. But also, each year is something that I want to try to improve on. I want to improve on something outside of the court. We are now starting to broadcast our games. ATMC is joined with us as well as Chris Sheeman Media to help live stream our games. ATMC is going to broadcast some here of those live stream games that were on YouTube on their channel here in a few weeks. They've come and broadcast some of our games in the past.
Right.
That's the next step. Not only do we want to eventually get where we can have a fully scholarship team, but we want to be able to let people know what we have going on currently. And it's a good thing. So, those who see it, love it, they come back and to each game. I mean, we haven't really had many disappointed fans. It's just that we have to get more fans out to see it.
Coach, we also wanted to talk about the position that you occupy at the college, that being the Director of Health and Fitness. Tell us about that.
Yes, it's a unique opportunity that was presented to me a couple of years ago. Not only has my career taken turns in basketball, but it's also taken turns in my other aspects of the college. I went from a recruiter of the college to helping manage the Fitness and Aquatic Center to now teaching people to work in that field. And in the area of health and fitness science, which is a new program we have on campus, it was there, but we didn't have anyone in the director's seat. Dr. Adams called me in one day and said she wanted to put me in that role, thought I'd be a good fit. I was kind of good at growing things with the what we've done with basketball and what we've done getting the Fitness and Aquatic Center off the ground, and so far so good, I can say. But what the opportunities are for students is a great opportunity for those who want to go into the area of health, fitness,
Right.
Parks and Rec, work at YMCAs, maybe want to go into exercise science, maybe move on to a four-year college, or even become personal trainers or group exercise instructors. Everything that would be under the umbrella of a complete comprehensive fitness center or aquatic center, or anyone who has an interest in that area of work.
As an administrator, it's a pretty broad job description, right?
Yes, it is. I mean, I have to, I teach 18 to 21 contact hours
No
each
kidding.
semester. So that could be 6 to 7 classes. And right now, with the program being in the infancy stage, I teach all of them. I really don't. And so as a result of that, it allows me to get a well-rounded outlook on what we're able to offer our students. The Fitness and Aquatic Center on campus has been a great partner.
And you've built a great staff there already, I'll say that.
Yes, in the Fitness and Aquatic Center, Ashley Brown has been great. She does teach in the Health and Fitness Science program as well. And it allowed us to partner and utilize the full function of that facility, along with teaching people what it all takes to be in that field.
All right, I'm going a completely different direction. It's halftime, and you're 5 points down. What are you saying to your students? What are you saying to your athletes?
Well, they already know coming in that we're kind of always a back against the wall situation. We have to take care of each other. That's the expectation coming in. So we just have to bond together more as a unit. We have to fight harder. We have to be, have to be able to tune in and focus.
Are you changing strategies?
And sometimes you have to change strategy, and sometimes you have to, ramp up the energy level to try to take things over the top.
All right, let's say you lost this one by 15. What are you saying to your students your athletes right after the game? What are you saying to them?
Well, the sun is going to come up tomorrow. We'll go back and we'll assess what the issues were.
Yeah.
If there are obvious issues, we'll deal with them right then. But we'll go back and figure out what went wrong, and that we're going to fight next time out.
Say you got a long bus ride back, 2 or 3 or 4 hours. Are your students going to be up? Are they going to be?
It's usually a very quiet bus ride when
Okay.
those things happen.
All right.
Anyone who's played sport knows that tough losses can lead to quiet bus rides.
Well, I've lost a little track, but Coach, you've had a great career already. You're still a young man and have so much to give, and the folks in Brunswick County are so appreciative of everything you've done. We really appreciate you being here.
You're welcome.
I think having a Brunswick Community College softball team will benefit all 3 high schools in our county tremendously. We have young ladies here in our community that go on and play at other community colleges. This way they'll be able to stay home, be with their families, be close to home, and also they'll be able to get the Brunswick Guarantee money and be on full scholarships. So that's a win-win situation for us, and I think it would be for the young ladies that would come here to play softball at Brunswick Community College. I just think if our student athletes, the ones that we can get from Brunswick County, stay home, and the ones that come in give back to Brunswick County and to our community, then our community will give to the programs that are here to help these kids succeed and become successful and move on and get a college education. And we learned that very quickly with the baseball program and our other programs, that it was really, really important for our student athletes to be in the community and do the right thing. A lot of these young people that come from all over the state of North Carolina and even further away in some instances, they would not even go to school at all if it were not for athletics. We have a right at 95% of our student athletes that are sophomores that are here move on to four-year schools and complete their education. We'd like to thank ATMC for giving to our programs, and they've given to our programs in the past and been very supportive here. And you know, without corporate sponsors and people like you guys doing that, we wouldn't be able to survive.
Thank you for watching Our Hometown. If you have an idea for a future episode, contact us at atmctv@atmc.com. Tune in again next time for Our Hometown.